Okay, Thursday, 9th of October 2025. So, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Dating sixes strategically. Now, this is a very interesting little dichotomy I kind of sussed out with regards to power dynamics in relationships. So, as and when the man's value is substantially or meaningfully greater than hers, meaning she's a six and he's equivalent of a seven or an eight or a nine, things like that. Because that default embedded power imbalance, because that by default, you have much more leeway with regards to what you can and can't do, with regards to the compliance test, the shit tests, things like that. Meaning, your what's normal and standard for you, epistemic contrast, is going to be by default better than her. Meaning, what you can and can't do is out of her reach. So, by virtue of you being with her, you're in a higher position than her, and she's the one chasing you, so to speak. Now, with that default status right there, it's pretty good for the man. So you might think that there'll be less hassle with a woman who is a six. Maybe less pretty, but less hassle, more respect, because she knows that what you bring to the table is so high value that compared to what she can bring to the table or has other access to men elsewhere, you're her best option. You are her best option. You are her best option. That's powerful. And if that option falls through, you end up creating an alpha widow, and that's something completely different. But if we go around dating sixes on purpose, we by default have that loyalty, cooperation, and you could even say that she would work harder to preserve the relationship. She respects it more than say a woman who is an eight or just below you or even just above you, things like that. But at the same time, we don't want to go too down low because that gap is too strong. You might start developing reputation with other men to say lack of self respect, lack of confidence. It would be detrimental if she's too low value. That's quite pernicious thing. That's a pernicious thing to keep an eye out for. So then you could say, right, well, maybe it's worthwhile dating sixes strategically. And to go deeper, what I've also noticed is that in some scenarios, maybe that you are up here because she is so low value that she can't attract other men. She can't attract other men, so you are by far the best she can attract, and other men she can attract are down here. Ah, then you've got to say to yourself, well, is this the best I can do? Is this the best I can do? Can I or should I do better? I did a video about that as well months ago. That's potential. You're the best you can do. And or the opposite could be true as well, where in her local area, she's the worst one there is. All the other women are up here and she's down here, for example, in some fashion. Then you might be thinking to yourself, well, at a deeper level, am I scraping the bottom of the barrel here? It's very possible, it's very plausible. Really, you've got to understand the anthropology of the area, the social dynamics at play, understanding things deeper in general, the society there. That's very important. I did a video as well about the more you understand her anthropology, the better, and culture, the better you can seduce her. That's powerful. But the interesting meta pattern here, well, the kind of slight contradiction is, even in spite, well, this could be either the seed of something really good, a really strong and meaningful relationship with regards to compatible characters, same timelines. I did a video about that as well as priorities and values and objectives and destination and goal, which is powerful, which is good, great. You could argue that's the point of a relationship, something meaningful long term. But then at a deeper level, you could say, well, if you're so good with women, if you're so high value, if you're so competent, and you can glide through her compliance tests and shit tests, why are you with a six? It's something worth thinking about before committing, just in general. Interesting. But on the flip side, by being with a six, that power balance, that default power balance gives you a massive margin of error. And of course, you're the competent man. We don't necessarily need that margin of error, but it's a nice cushion to have, just in case, so to speak. Everything else, You could argue it's just in business we'll say just free cash flow. It's just pure gravy, the icing on top. Well, the cherry on top even. It depends, but then the point still stands. If you're so good and competent, why are you dating a six? And that's not to beat down the strategy, but it's the steelman argument and position to take and think in order to revise and fully understand your position. Why am I doing this if that's possible? If I can do better. But I did a video as well about that saying just because you can do better does it mean you should do better? Arguably when to settle. Something else worth thinking about. Yeah. But otherwise, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.